We heard some of the new advice from the government on dealing with the coronavirus earlier, and we're going to hear a little bit more of it now.
Yes, Emma Kenny is here alongside Dr Phillipa. Kaye, welcome to both of you. So let's just go through a bit of the advice bit by bit. So the new advice for over 70s is to isolate for up to 12 weeks. The government has urged 70s to avoid unnecessary social contact, and that is by the coming weekend. They are largely shielded from social contact for around 12 weeks. So why do this?
So we want to cocoon those who are at most risk in the hope that, one, the general pressures of the cough and cold season will be off from the NHS. And also, as people in the general community get exposed and become immune, there'll be less circulating virus. So we are asking those who are vulnerable to really look after themselves and to take care. Right now, that doesn't mean that you still can't go for a walk in your local park, you know, that you can't get outside and look after your physical and mental health. So I would definitely be recommending that until we are told absolute lockdown and that you must not.
Doesn't it just mean when everybody comes out in 12 weeks' time that it's just going to sort of kick the ball down the road?
So it won't be everybody. That's the thing, is that we're talking about specific groups, the over 70s, those with comorbidities with other illnesses. And also, though, when we are in the summer already, without the burden of normal flu and normal infections, the health service will be better able to manage.
So, for your mental health, if you are 70 and above and you've been told this, and yes, as we just heard then, that you can currently go for a walk, if you're told you can't and you are then in lockdown on your own for however many weeks, what does that do to you?
I mean, social isolation is one of our biggest killers. So I think your point and the fact that so many people are going to be in that situation where they're afraid of that isolation is a really relevant one. So first of all, to anybody who's in that situation, including my mum, video technology is really powerful. You know, make sure that you're calling your relatives and make sure that you're having that contact every day. A lot of Facebook groups also offer that kind of protection, so get in touch with groups around you in that respect.
And also, if this is not your technology, and if it's worried you in the past, then maybe the one thing that comes out of this for you is that this is the time to learn.
The whole
this is how you learn to use Facebook. This is how you learn to Skype.
So powerful. And also, I think informal mindful practice is really helpful. That's things like doing puzzles, colouring in, doing anything that's very hand-orientated, like baking. Those kind of things are lifesavers. I really, really want people, if they've not got technology, to get online, because there is so many available meditation programmes, mindfulness programmes, so many things that you can listen to that really help you to relax. And I think that fresh air, whether you're told that you can go out or otherwise, I mean, fresh air, whether that's sitting by a window or just getting outside in your garden.
Find the positives in all of this. It's really hard to find positives in this right now. However, if people are using this time to reconnect a little bit, to look outside, to see nature, to just spend a bit of time picking up a book, doing a puzzle or something, I mean, is that actually going to almost be like a human reset
experience? Yeah, I think that reset's a really good thing that people have been talking about online. Digital detox is really important as well. We use technology, but use it for purpose,
What do you do when you're on your own? What do you do when you're sitting there thinking, right, OK, well, I'll watch something on the telly in just a moment, but first of all, I'll just have a look at my phone and I'll just go through the headlines and I'll just go through social media. I mean, that in itself, it can be
powerfully negative.
A very dark place for your mind.
So a little timetable for your day, little forward planning. I'm going to do a low-impact beginner's workout on YouTube. Then I'm going to sit and read a book for 20 minutes. And I'm going to look at the news maybe twice a day. So a little bit of control, but also a little bit of structure and purpose to your day, even if you're at home, can be really helpful.
I think also asking yourself the question, if you are socially isolated and you're on your own, why even bother too much with the news? Because it is highly negative at the moment. And actually, you really want to restrict that because it does power those nerves. You want to be thinking about how to really reduce anxiety and things like meditation, mindful practice, doing puzzles, cooking, all of those things.
I mean, how important are simple things like getting up, even though you're in the house and you're getting up, cleaning your teeth, getting dressed, like things like that? Is that going to help you keep your mindset of, right, actually, I'm having a day, I'm at home, but I'm progressing and I'm still part of society and I'm up and ready and dressed?
So hugely important. Don't forget to take your regular medication. You know, if we're going to be at home, have you got enough of your contraception? You know, things like that are things that we really must need to talk about. Looking after your physical health, still trying to eat healthily, and we can do that with dried goods, of course we can, and a little bit of structure, and actually we could use this as a real opportunity for self-care.
I think bonding is a really powerful thing. If you're in the over 70 group, the big fear is that you're on your own, isn't it? That's the big fear. So I think as communities, we also need to be thinking about how we can reach out. We might not be able to physically go around, but do we know that our neighbours are struggling? Can we pop a note through the door and say, listen, this is my telephone number. If you're struggling, please give me a call and we can have a conversation. Things like the Silver Line, that's a great charity that offers those kind of things as well. You have to think about how you're going to reduce this fear. It's the fear of the unknown, not the fear of the reality of what's going to happen that's the problem.
There was also the amount of time you should self-isolate. We heard that Zoe there was... I watched everything. Bad idea. But there was real confusion yesterday and it had to be properly explained.
Yeah.
If you live on your own,
Yep.
it's 7 days.
It's 7 days. And if you live with other people, then it's 14 days for everybody. Now, the reason that has changed is due to the incubation period of the virus, which we think is up to 14 days. You're most infectious sort of the day before you come out with symptoms and for the first few days. So we don't want people going out who are about to get it tomorrow or about to get it this afternoon, because that's what's going to keep the infection going. So that's why we're at home for 14 days. If you live with other people, if anybody in the house has a cough or a fever.
So schools, I mean, again, this conversation rumbles on, why are we not closing schools? I think it's moved on slightly now where people are saying, OK, right, children are at school because obviously other these, the infrastructure of the country will go down because people won't be able to go to work, they'll be looking after their kids. But what happens at school pickup? What happens when this influx of parents all stand at the school gates, all waiting for their children? Like, how sensible is that?
I think there's a few reasons why we don't close schools. The first is how many children that we have out there who only eat at their free school lunch, how many children are at risk of real neglect at home, and what are you going to do with your children? I'm a healthcare worker, so I would think about sending them to my mum, you know, and your grandparents are in the high-risk category. So if we put all our super spreader asymptomatic children with our high-risk groups, that doesn't seem very sensible.
No.
But most schools at pick-up time, we're outside in the open air, which automatically helps as opposed to being inside, and we're doing it as quickly as we can. And at the moment, and it might change, but at the moment it seems safer that children continue to go to school.
OK, all right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both. Thank you very much.